big welcome and a hello to Inés. Hi, Inés.
Hola.
Hi. It's so lovely for you. I mean, I know that time-wise, it's 3 hours less, so it's only 4:30 now in Buenos Aires. But still, you know, it's like it's really nice of you, you know, to be with us, and because we've been very touched by this film, I have to say. And as you know, Nicholas has been following us since the beginning of the Argentinian Cineclub. And instead we got two newbies, but they know me quite well for some reason, Eric and John. Let me introduce a bit what Inés has done so far. So she worked in this, this was your first feature film, right?
No, it was my third, but it was the first big feature film I worked in.
Yeah, and you received 4 awards for this role in the film, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the film won something like 25 awards all over the world. So it's been really, you know, a film that's been distributed and seen everywhere. And I have to say, as a definitely, you know, I watched it for the first time today. That it's a film that's still relevant today. I mean, it's something. It talks and deals with certain issues that have, you know, they haven't really changed. So you know, it was, and I think what you did in the movie. It's amazing because you really portray so well, you know, all the kind of sensitivity and all the, you know, all the changes and all the transformation that you're going through. So tell us a bit, you know, how you work with Lucia Puenzo, the director. You know, how did you manage to work the character?
Yes, con Lucia. Yo venía de una formación muy lúdica, mi formación actoral fue muy lúdica.
She says that she came from a very ludic formation, training.
Así que con Lucía no tuvimos una preparación muy formal del personaje.
So she said that they, with Lucia, they didn't have a very rigid or formal training or preparation for the character.
Ella me contó como algunas cosas bien médicas y yo tuve un encuentro con un médico que me hizo entender un poco cómo era el panorama de una persona que tenía esto de que es el síndrome de Klinefelter.
She says that Lucia only spoke about some medical things, and she made an interview with a doctor that has had a training about this syndrome that I didn't get the specific name.
Hay varios nombres, en verdad, no quisiera quizás especificar uno.
Okay, the training of the doctor was about people with that condition, that there are many, and it was the only thing that she specifically did for that movie.
Okay.
Sí, y lo que hicimos fue que fue muy importante, porque yo fui fui 15 días antes de que el rodaje comience, y empecé a estar ahí, estar en el escenario donde iba a suceder la vida de este personaje.
15 days before the movie, she went to the place where the movie was filmed, and she just stayed there, and she was like experiencing the place and the feeling of just being there. ¿Qué lugar era?
Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Yo pensaba que era el sur de la Argentina. It was not in Argentina, but in Uruguay.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to speak in English a little bit. It's not common, like in a movie, the actors go 15 days before the shooting to just stay there because it's not economic, like it's not good business. So it was like very special for me to have the opportunity to be there 15 days, and I start drawing like a little like diary that you can see it in the movie. It's a diary of the character, and I really did it. And voy al español. Y construí como un mundo debajo de un deck, que es donde se me ve a la primera imagen donde yo aparezco.
Sí.
Todo eso me hizo entrar en un imaginario del personaje.
She was like the first image of the movie. There was a deck, and you can see her from below, and that feeling helped her to construct the world of the movie.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't
because
know how to say un imaginario, really.
yeah, I don't know, because I had time to build, like to stick things debajo de este deck, ¿cómo se dice?
Below the deck.
Below the deck.
I built my own world there. And that was thanks to, gracias a Lucia que me dio el espacio para que yo tenga tiempo.
It was thanks to Lucia that gave way and space for her to have that time to just being or feel the place and the movie. How old were you? ¿Cuántos años tenías?
I was 24 years old, I think so.
It was because, you know, I have a teenager and I felt like you were like my daughter. When I saw the movie, la primera vez que vi la película, yo obviamente era joven, no tenía hijos, y now fue completamente distinto. I'm telling her that I have a teenager, and I felt like it was her age, but she was 24 by that time.
Yeah, that's the first thing that I told her when we started the conversation. I said, you look again so young, and you were already young 13 years ago, and now you're still young. What's the secret? We want to know.
Yes, we want to know. Please.
I told her that I'm immature. That's why I look younger. That's the secret.
Okay, but that's good. You know, keep the secret because it works really. So basically you worked on because so basically it's like a theater preparation, right? I mean, it's like you were there 15 days in advance. You kind of, you know, try to fit in with the environment, with the atmosphere, and then you created, which is really, I mean, I think it's a great help, you know, for an actor, you know, to be totally immersed into it.
Yeah, and there is another thing that maybe is related with your question, that I don't accept characters that doesn't have anything to do with me, like that are not related with my story, with what I have, what I know about my feelings, my own experience of being alive. So that story of Alex has a lot to do with me, with the thoughts I have when I was a teenager, and the questions I have about my own sexuality. So that's why I also accept the character, and a lot of things that were already on me, inside me.
Yes.
I had a question that it keeps like resounding inside me now, rewatching the movie so many years after the releasing, and it was now with all the feminist movement in Argentina, and with all the explosion of accepting identities, and you know, there is a conversation in Argentina about this, and also we have our legislation about gender identity, and now it's, I don't know if yes, it is easier to speak about that. It not, obviously it is not easy, but it's easier than before. So how do you feel now? Because it was so iconic, the movie, by that time, and now even in schools, kids are watching that movie. So I imagine that you should be very proud about that.
Sí, como actriz, a mí me interesa traer conciencia. A mí, yo no acepto papeles donde haya violencia, por ejemplo, donde haya cosas que no tienen que ver con mis ideales.
She says that as an actress, she's interested in bringing awareness and consciousness and knowledge about things, and she doesn't accept roles that doesn't match with her ideals or her feelings.
So I'm proud of touching with my work, touching the heart of people along different people all around the world, a long time, no? Like this movie, I don't know, was shot many years ago, and it's still moving emotions in the people that watch it. So for me, it's like that's the answer that why I chose this profession, why I am an actress.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, you know, another thing that I gather from this movie is that there's so many different layers, because the director really touched everything, and you would, you know, the mirror through which she would express all this. So basically, they talk about identity, they talked about gender, they talked about violence, because there's lots of violence in the film as well, you know, rape. And you know, this male thing and the female, you know, that they're clashing together inside one person. So it's really, you know, I felt that it was very intense, but also, and also the fact that the protective society, you know, so both families, you know, the surgeon and also her family are trying to protect her, you know, but eventually, she, you know, she has to decide herself what she really wants to do, who she wants to become. So, yeah, did you discuss this with Lucia? You know, how did it come about? You know, the choice of all.
Para mí, hay algo cuando uno hace when you shoot a movie, it's like a big mystery, ¿no? Y a veces no, las cosas no las hablamos tanto, no fue tan pensado todo. Es que hay como un entendimiento, había un entendimiento de qué se trataba lo que estaba pasando, lo que estábamos contando.
Sorry, I was hearing with, and she says that it was not so rational and so spoken about, but it was something that they did together, and they both know, and I imagine all the crew knew about what was happening. There was an understanding, but they didn't talk so much, so deeply, so rationally about things.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but no, that's related with the way I'm used to work. As I say at the beginning, I learned to act in an intuitive way. Playing, no, playing. Like, so I don't work. I don't. ¿Cómo se dice? No funciono también de un modo racional.
Yes, I don't work so well in a rational way.
Yeah, no, this comes out very, you know, in a strong way, because really, I mean, you can tell that you're just very instinctive, very intuitive, and you know, for example, you instead the friend that you meet, instead they're more like rational, you know, they try to rationalize everything, but you know, in your case, definitely everything coming out as you know, very natural, and this is, you know, it's a great quality, I have to say. Yeah.
And what about the other actors and actresses? They were with you together those days before in Uruguay, or you just met?
I was alone. That was very nice. Yeah, I was alone, and I had time to own to ganar mi espacio.
To win her space there, because you know, when you watch the movie, you can feel like the relationship between you and the actors like run very deep. Like, I don't know, it was the reason you are explaining, that you were like so immersed in your role that you relate to the other people in the same way. But it was very touching to see you interplaying with the other actors, with the young ones above all.
Yes. Yeah. So then another question is about the, I felt that, you know, about the parents, you know, about the family. that they were really, in a way, they were hyper protective. And in another way, they were just leaving her a bit of a game, she could play around a bit. But so it's interesting because, we're used to right now, especially the hyper-protective families. And so I would just, how did you see the roles of the parents towards you in the film?
Es súper sobreprotectores, ¿no, Alessandra, la palabra que ella usa?
Overprotective, sí, sobreprotectores, exacto, sí, sí.
Sí, yo creo que esa familia estaba tan preocupada por esta dificultad de encasillar, ¿no? a Alex, que es interesante ver cómo por querer cuidar uno puede, ¿no? Como estrechar la amplitud de una situación indefinida.
Claro. She says that the family was so worried, so concerned about trying to put her in a square, I don't know how to say casillero,
In a cage.
To make her adjust, to fit in.
Okay.
That they lose the idea of how much freedom you can give in a situation like that, because when I'm trying to translate in my own words, but when a situation is so indefinite, maybe you can have more freedom. And they didn't realize that. They were trying all the time, because they were overprotective, they were trying to make her like the rest of the people to fit in.
Yeah, and also maybe the role of the father is more open, no, and he's not so worried about how Alex is. But well, they raise her or him in a cocoon, no, like isolated for the contact of all the rest of the people. And when you see that she has contact with some boys, it's like very in a violent way, or well, she has only one friend.
Mm.
Yeah.
The other thing that we were also I was saying that she's not a person that she can do small talk. As soon as she meet the new guy, I can't remember now the name, the other Alvaro. She just says, "Oh, she'll have sex together." So she, from one, instead of saying hi, she just goes to the to the opposite. So it's really an amazing character to play. I guess it's really very,
It's amazing to play. Yeah, and I was really committed with Alex. Like ¿cómo sería? Lo entregué todo.
I gave her everything. She was, yes, totally engaged with the character.
Sure, yeah.
I guess that's very important, and no mixing like emotions, like personal emotions, with the characters. I guess that's.
Don't mix, you say?
Yeah, don't mix like your personal emotions with the characters, and to understand to split these things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's important. You as an actress, you have to put yourself like a favor, ¿no? Te tenés que poner a disposición del personaje, intervenir lo menos posible.
Yeah.
She says that when you're playing roles, you have to be like offer yourself to the character and try not to interfere in the less possible ways.
Inés, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you get this from the character, like to accept ourselves, to even deeper, to love ourselves? Pregunto que si yo entendí en gran parte en la película querernos a sí mismos, amarnos a sí mismos como somos, y esa maduración que tenemos en el proceso. ¿Es algo así de lo que trata el arco de Alex?
Sí, de abarcar las complejidades, ¿no? de lo que es ser humano, abarcarnos con todo eso que a veces es difícil de abrazar porque incluso es contradictorio, ¿no? Todas las sensaciones. Sí, un gran abrazo, es como lo que vos decís, amar, sí, amar, incluir, sí.
She says that the movie was about that in a way, but it was more than that because it was like reach all the complexities of being human and give all those things a hug, even if they are contradictory among itself. So it's, in a way, is loving, but in a very ample way.
Yeah, no, definitely. I saw, you know, looking at this film and thinking about it, that's what I think. It's really, you have to come down and just be, yeah, love yourself. I mean, this is the end of it. It's also about human rights. It's also about deciding identity, but mainly it's about accepting oneself. At the end of the day, you know, that's the greatest message that it's really sending this movie. And that's why I think, even if, again, you know, it's very intense, it's very violent, you know, there are a lot of things that are just you know, out there, very straightforward. At the end, you understand that it's a trajectory, that, you know, it's just a path that you need to go through to understand yourself. And that's true for everyone. It's not only because, you know, the girl that wants to become a boy, or boy because wants to become a girl. It's just for everyone. So that's.
It was very interesting now that you mentioned that the counterpoint with the boy, because he's not like accepted by her own father, and your father, you're in the movie obviously, is Darin is accepting you and speaking about his son and going with him, her, and the other character is not. So it's very interesting to see that also in the movie. You can see the potential for happiness in Alex and the potential for unhappiness in Alvaro, or I feel that, at least.
I totally agree. Yes.
Yes. Okay, well, we're getting close to the, you know, if we got any other question, but I also wanted to ask you a little bit, Inés, what she's up to, what she's been doing, and you know, new projects that are coming up, because I know this is it's an old film, so I mean, it's still very important, but you know, we want to hear about new projects or whatever you want to share with us.
Estoy aprovechando que hay una pandemia en el mundo para hacer algo que siempre quise hacer, que es tener la mente en blanco y tener un año sabático.
Qué bueno. She says that she's taking profit of the COVID crisis to do something that she always wanted to do, which is to have her mind in blank, like empty. So she's doing that. I'm jealous.
Good for you.
I don't want to have any project now. I like.
That's great. Very necessary.
Yeah. Is there any film that can be at the same level this one, of all the films that you've made? Because you made like 25 different films, feature and TV series. So is there anything that reaches the same kind of intensity of this film?
Yeah, for me, Glue, a film shot by Alexis Dos Santos. It was my first film, and I feel have the same. I have the same, ¿cómo se dice, entrega?
Like when you give yourself
commitment.
The commitment. Gracias, Cris.
And it's a film that it's like it's about teenager and this emotional moment of our lives when we are a little bit dramatic and we don't know what to do with life and how to live life. And it's a little bit more punk than XXY, and I really recommend it. maybe I don't know. Maybe it's in YouTube. I think
Isn't it?
Glue by Alexis dos Santos. He's an Argentinian director who lived many years in London.
Is, but it's blue, like
No, no, blue like
the color.
no, no,
Like
blue like the attack, like you
Like
know,
the Roma.
yeah. Let me.
Ah, okay, okay. Sí. Okay.
Blue.
Okay.
I recommend.
Okay, well, if we go on with the Cineclub, we might have that as well. If it's a good recommendation, we trust you. Okay.
Beautiful.
Gracias.
Any other questions? Anybody? Who we got here? John, Nicholas, Eric.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nicholas.
Yeah. The minute you were talking about actors and stuff, I thought to myself, well, who's your which actress inspired you with your acting, or which actress is your influence? Inés, yeah.
¿Qué actrices te influenciaron o a quién miras, no?
I love Miranda July, American actress and director and artist. And it's very strange, but I don't watch so much theater, and not theater I watch, but not movies. So maybe there are some Argentinian actresses that maybe you don't know because we belong for the like very specific alternative scene in Buenos Aires. But Miranda July, that maybe you all know, is a very like, for me, it's something I really admire her work.
Okay.
Talking about that, I have to ask if you learned something working with Ricardo Darín. Specifically, how was working with Ricardo Darín?
Oh, well, I was really nervous because he's the most famous actor in Argentina, and all the time I was a kid, and all the time I was playing with him. I said, "Oh, he's Ricardo Darín."
He's on stage. He's on sets.
Was he
Guys.
Relatos Salvajes? The film.
Relatos Salvajes. So many great films.
He was in one of the best shorts of that film, the Relatos Salvajes. Yeah.
Oh, he's in
Nine Queens.
Yeah, many movies.
Yeah. Well, he actually was a bit restrained in this film. You know, he didn't have the major role. Thinking you had you were the total protagonist of the film. So all the other grown-ups, all the other adults, even if they were close to her, they didn't get a chance. You know, you were just completely overwhelming, which is great. You know.
So how was working with him? Did you learn something, Inés? Or
Yes, he's great because it's very famous, and you can feel this tough feeling that he's Ricardo Darín, but he's a very relaxed man. I learned that, no, like, well, even if you're like the most famous star in the world, you're a human, and he's very grounded. ¿Cómo se dice? Con pies en la tierra.
Down to earth.
Grounded.
Down to earth.
Yeah, down to earth.
That's what I learned from him. That he's like relaxed, no, and he doesn't believe that he's a star. That's very important for actors and actresses. Don't believe that you're famous and a star, because that's irrelevant. No?
that's cool.
Right.
I wanted to ask something, if I may.
Yes.
I don't know. I just watched the film just now. It was really good. And I felt like it felt like very lonely and isolated, like this tiny little fishing village, and then even within that, this tiny little house. And then I don't know how to put it. Like, it felt like there were loads of restrictions on Alex. And although it sort of bubbles out that she's wants to be free and she just wants to be herself and whatever that is, or himself, you know, and to explore who she is and what she is, but there's all these restrictions. She can't really choose who her friends are or who she spends time with. I guess also her age, because she can't be independent. She's dependent on her parents. It's just felt very like restricted. So it made me almost want to see a sequel, like Alex when she's a bit older, turning up to a bigger city, or somewhere, and just being able to actually be herself. Because it's almost like, I don't know, it sort of weirdly reminded me of this mini series about a girl who escaped from the like Hasidic Jews in New York, and I think she went to Berlin, and then when she's in Berlin she could actually be herself and meet people, and it just made me think of that. It'd be great to see Alex.
The film is made by Sebastian Lelio, I think, that the story, the Jewish girl going to Berlin. I think it's Sebastian Lelio, right? Okay, sorry, just.
But yeah, so I don't know. I wonder what your thoughts are on that.
Beautiful. Yes, for me it's very nice to hear you, because for me, I was raised in the outside the big city, close to the city, but outside the city, in the countries. No, ¿cómo se dice? Como en la periferia.
In the outskirts of a big city.
What countryside?
Countryside.
Countryside también. Sí.
And for me, it was terrible. This feeling that the limitation, no, or like, that's why I also felt this this lack of air that Alex had in this very, very restricted world where she lived. Yeah, and beautiful to realize that environment.
Now we want to see a sequel. Really, you should talk to Lucia and ask her.
Yeah. In addition to that, the lack of colors. So the low saturation is also really not completely dark, but it's dark. I mean, you don't see many colors. It's some scenes with rain give you the sense of this solitude. Yeah.
Loneliness. Yes.
Oh, well, talking about the locations, what's the meaning of the sea in the story? Any specific?
Those are things that me as an actress, maybe I don't ask. I don't want to know. So Lucia probably has an answer, but I chose not to know those decisions.
Those things.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, we want to thank you a lot, and we are just looking forward to see some other films with you, because we were really impressed from this study. No, it's an old movie for you, but I'm sure that you will do great. I can tell that, especially because you're always young. So, even if we'll see each other in 10 years time, you'll be even younger than now.
I think you're not, for only about a year or two older than me. I discovered, Inés, when I researched you, Wikipedia stuff. One said 95, the other said 84, so I wasn't sure which, but I was 85.
Now I'm 36.
Oh, 1 year, I'll be 36 January.
So now you can play.
I don't understand your accent, sorry.
No, it's okay. Anyway, listen, thank you very much again. We'll definitely see you in London sometime soon, and take care of yourself. Okay.
Thank you for inviting me.
Everybody.
Thanks, Inés. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.